Alrighty, hello folks. Watched a video the other day. Believe it was J&J True Outdoors. Jared and Judy. Did some videos on their favorite rifles, which I thought was a pretty interesting, intriguing little idea for video. I think growing up in the 80s, 70s and 80s, it was a time for interesting rifles and guns for the hunters, and so I thought I'd do one myself. So I have. I don't know that it's my favorite, but it's in my top 3. This is. Double check everything here. Safety police on me. This here is a 80s, early 80s Winchester Model 70 30-06 rifle. This was given to me around 82, 83. I was 12, 13 years old. My dad bought this for me for Christmas one year. And so I've had this rifle for a long time. She's got she's got nicks and scars and scrapes, and she's got some wear and tear on her. She's killed a pile of deer. But I've hunted with this rifle for a long time. It is a 30-06. As I've gotten older, I did put one of these limb saver recoil pads on the back of this thing. This is a slip-on one. This wasn't a screw-in one. This is a slip-on one, and this is it works. The recoil pad really works. Makes this thing like shooting a 223 or 308 or something like that. But she's had, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. The jeweling on the bolt you can barely see. Rotate it up, and the jeweling looks perfect. But when you shut her down, the jeweling on the bolt has been worn down. This gun was made. Everybody knows about the Winchester Model 70s, pre-64s, control round feed. This is just a regular push feed. This is a not a featherweight, but a lightweight. This was a lightweight. They didn't have that little funky thing on the end here, the forearm that the featherweights did, and it had the longer barrel on it than the featherweights. These were off of the mold, basically the molds from after the pre-64s, after the 65s and laters. And somewhere around, I don't know if it was the late 80s or the early 90s, Winchester kind of went to crap again. They started making these. The receivers were a little different. The barrels were different. They were using the black plastic stocks on them, and they really got cheap. Some say they really weren't any better or any worse than these. But the fit and finish on this gun, on these guns, the wood guns were a whole lot better than the late 80s, early 90s Winchester Model 70s. This one, does not have a detachable box magazine. It has the built-in magazine where you drop the full plate to get the bullets out, and you feed the rounds in from the top. The checkering on these, I'm not 100% sure on the checkering. I don't know if that was pressed checkering or that actually was hand checkering. Somebody out there may know better about it than I do, but it still retains, the 3-position safety all the way back. It's on safe, don't fire, can't lift the bolt. Put it in the middle, you can lift the bolt, work the bolt, but you can't fire it. Then you put it all the way forward, then the gun goes, it goes click, goes bang. This, in my personal opinion, of course, opinions, everybody's got one. I think the 3-position safety on a bolt-action rifle is by far the best safety design. I like the fact that you keep this gun safe on the middle position. You could open your bolt, take your rounds out, drop your floor plate, drop everything out of it. Don't have no issues trying to unload these things and like another manufacturer had with trigger issues. This is a 3-position safety, is what the other manufacturer probably should have had all along. But again, this is my favorite. Does have a Leopold, Leopold loophole, whatever you want to say. It does have a loophole scope mount. This scope happens to be a Vortex Crossfire 2, 3x9x40. It has the mil spec or the BDC reticle, you know, the hash marks. Yeah, it does have that. This rifle, if you watch my other video on the budget rifle with the scope, this is the rifle that 2.5x10x50 Simmons Pro 50 scope. This is the original rifle that scope was on. This rifle and that scope took a ride with some criminals and got tossed out of a car. Spent better part of almost 2 years in the local PD's evidence room. But I got it back. I stayed on them. I got it back, and this because this rifle means a lot to me. This was my first high-powered rifle. So I got this thing in 82 or 83. I was 12, 13 years old when I got this gun. It's 30-06. For years, I shot Winchester. I believe they were 165 grain silver tips. I shot those for many a year, and then Federal came out with their premium line, and I shot the 180 grain nodular partitions through this gun. Everything, both of those rounds shot a minute of deer. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, the big craze for deer rifle shooting sub MOA was not there. I mean, it was kind of reserved for your more precision type things. But if you could hit a 3-inch pie plate at 100 yards, you were doing good. So that was good enough to go deer hunting with. But I have since worked up. I went back to nodular partitions. I do shoot 180 grain nodular partitions in this thing. I also shoot 180 grain Sierra Game King boat tails out of this gun. Both of those shoot in this gun right at 1 inch, 1 MOA. I don't have any, Lord, when I haven't shot this gun in years. I worked up loads for this thing when I first started reloading. But it was shooting right at 1 MOA. It was shooting right at 1 inch groups, or just a smidge past an inch. But mostly they were 1 inch groups. But this again, this is another one of those iconic deer camp rifles, bolt actions, right along with the Remington Model 700s. I don't take anything away from the 700 other than it should have had this style safety on it. But that's just my personal opinion. Everybody has their own opinions. The barrel is you can run a dollar bill down here. This barrel does not touch the wood here. You can run a dollar bill all the way down till you get to the receiver here. And this gun shooting the nodular. I'll also shoot 180 grain nodular Accubons out of this thing also. And it shoots all 3 of those loads, the Accubons, the partitions, and those Sierra Game King boat tails. Spitzer point, and not a hollow point or anything. It is a Game King. It shoots all 3 of those loads right at 1 inch group, right at 1 MOA with it. The rifle is very accurate. But I don't know what else to say about the rifle. Again, like I said, another iconic 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s deer camp type rifle, the Winchester Model 70. This one I've killed deer with this rifle. Can't complain about it. The bolt on this thing is just the safety here. The bolt on this thing is just buttery smooth. You probably can't tell from the audio on the phone here because I'm just doing all these videos with my phone. You can just hear how smooth this bolt is. I mean, it's just buttery smooth. The only rifle I have that's close to this is I do have a newer Bergara. When they first came out, probably bought that rifle. And of course, that's on a Remington 700 platform footprint. That gun is the bolt on that thing and the action on that thing is super smooth. Also, we'll do another video. That's my latest gun. That not my latest gun, but that's the latest one that I've pretty much hunt with most of the time now. That is a 270. I've kind of dropped down from these kicking 30-06 down to the 270, getting in my old age. But again, thanks for viewing it, and we do another. I have another rifle. Might do another review or show and tell on next week. That is probably. They're my three favorite rifles. This rifle, my Bergara, and my other rifle that I'll do a video on next. Another iconic 60s, 70s, 80s deer hunting rifle. Well, here we go for today. Winchester, Model 70, 30-06, lightweight. Find one of the older ones with the wooden stock, pick it up. They're great rifles. All right, y'all have a good one.